Oh, wow. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we have a house for sale. You've watched all of Project 150 from foundation, I think maybe a little bit of dirt work if I remember, all the way through framing and siding. But what we never got into was the house when it's finished. So we have the brains of the operation here. Remember, I'm the biceps. So Brian's gonna go through just a few things on the exterior, then we're gonna go inside and just do a tour of the house. Take it away.
All right, so this is a spec home. We haven't sold it yet. Hopefully we will, but rates have been...
If you'd like to buy this house, get in touch. That's basically the real reason for this video.
And scene, we're done. No, so while this is a spec home, you might know the cheapest way to build a spec home would be 4 corners, flat, like nothing going on.
Keep it simple.
Keep it as simple as possible. Everything does cost a little bit more, but you have to pick and choose what those things are. So just in looking at the massing of this house, you can see that there's some depth changes. 3-car garages are so important, we find, but that single bay garage is offset. So that makes it a little bit more interesting to look at visually. Yeah.
We like less boring.
Around the window up there, it protrudes forward. So again, it could have just been a flat mass, but that little bit of projection, and then above it, there's also a projection with that false gable
I will
vent.
insert some B-roll there because I tried to talk Brian out of that. But we framed that balloon framed, added the projection before we raised the wall. So, man, I got all this B-roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it was up to me as a framer, it was like, no, let's just keep it as simple as possible. But we have a house to sell.
Exactly. So we try to hit that middle of the road. We cannot compete with the super cheap guys. At the same time, if we overbuild the house, they never sell. Right now, we're not really dealing with that so much. It's just high interest rates. It's just where we're at right now.
What are interest rates right now?
Well, it depends on your credit score and a whole lot of other factors if we want to get into it, but right around 7%.
Yeah. I think, I remember Dad selling houses in Highlands, and it was 7%.
Yeah.
But that was low for the time.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not the intent of this one, but if you're at 3% or under, you've got to have a mighty fine reason to go up to 7%.
So for me as the sider, the only thing that is really worth pointing out, it's all LP smart side. Some of it's board and bat, most of it's horizontal.
A couple of other things I would say is about the front porch. What type of columns did we use?
Real posts. Real posts. They're lock mitered, so basically they'll never open up. We don't have to build them up adding trim to 6x6. They're hollow columns that are structurally rated. They're called real posts, and with the lock miters, they're just going to last a long time. So, okay, I say we go inside. I'll go open the garage door. And cut.
Okay, come on in. Well, welcome inside. You might have noticed we didn't have to take a step up into this house. So the reason for that is basically the floor joists are hung on this side of the house, but if you remember from talking about the slopes, the house falls away. So back there, it's more conventionally framed.
Nice and easy. One step onto the porch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A couple of things just to note here. The way the house flows and the way the lighting works is we have light that comes from the front to the back, obviously from the back to the front. And it also kind of goes this way. The way you walk in the house has a really nice circulation pattern. The primary bedroom is on the main level. This is primarily a retirement community. So if needed, even though this is a 2-story house, as far as the architecture is concerned, it's main level living. You'd be just fine. Grandma and grandpa live in here, and then the upstairs could be used for guests who come for the weekend or the summer. 9-foot ceilings on this level. There's a couple of ceiling heights throughout, but let's go ahead and walk into the great room and you'll see where that gets to be a really high ceiling height. Here is the tall room. How high is it from floor to ceiling in here?
17 feet.
Yeah.
8-foot ceilings, 9 foot plus the rim.
So there you go, quick math. But I'll walk you around. This is a true great room concept home. And as you come around, you can see that the ceiling was vaulted. Now, eventually we might not be able to have fossil fuel fireplaces, but for now we can. So we've got the propane-fired fireplace. Above it, we have a little piece of conduit that runs from here to down below. So you could have your TV up here, concealed wiring, have your other components down in this area. Just looks a little bit better. As you come around, you can see that we are on the golf course. So there's just an absolutely gorgeous, quiet view. As far as the conditioning in this house, we have one heat pump. It's a mini split. Daikin is the manufacturer, and that feeds 3 indoor units. This is one indoor unit. This is truly a ductless unit. Elsewhere for the upstairs, we have a ducted unit. I don't think we'll go up and take a look at that. And then in the primary bedroom, there's another ductless unit. Right now, this is set for 75 degrees, and it's 70 degrees in here. Airtight house. You might have seen I had a blower door, so we're still doing some air sealing after the
What are we
fact.
at right now?
It was at about 2.15 air changes per hour at 50 pascals.
And you want to be down below 2?
Yes.
2 or
Not by, right now, the code for this house would have been 5 air changes, but because of the energy credit that I selected, it's 2. I didn't realize it was that low, so we're going after the fact and doing hand air sealing, which does make a difference, honestly. So here is the breakfast nook, access to the deck that we'll take a look at later. And then as we come around, quick kitchen walkthrough. Refrigerator will be here. We went with wood stained cabinetry. Wood is kind of nice. It's timeless, you might say. And then we have lighter colored countertops. The hardwood floors are solid oak. He's carbo loading for his marathon that he has later.
The problem with these is you can't get your hand out unless you let go of the can.
I think that's what, yeah, that's a monkey trap, right? Anyway, so you've got your granite countertops. One place, again, to save some money if you're working with your countertop installer is it's relatively inexpensive to go with a solid surface backsplash as opposed to a full height tile or maybe even a full slab. They're beautiful, but again, you just have to know what you can afford and what you can't put into the house. Something else, they're 42-inch uppers, so it gives you plenty of extra space, and it looks nice when you've got a 9-foot ceiling.
Sometimes I'll do it real slow, like if I send up the drone and I walk out like this because the sound will pick up on my mic because it's close.
Is it basically that has to hear the sound waves from here and this at the same time?
You guys could just hurry that because I have to hold my arms out for this.
Oh, okay. That's definitely making it in the video.
All right, come on upstairs. We'll talk about a couple of other things. You saw from below that the airflow can actually come really nicely through here. I'll talk about the ceiling in just a second, but basically you've got one bedroom here with a walk-in closet, bedroom out the front, that's one that had that projecting framing, one bedroom in the back, there's a full bath between those two, and then there's a little pocket office here, as well as a linen closet here. So pretty basic up here, but nice square footage for each one of these rooms. We've got a return grill here, and that is for one of the indoor units that I talked about, but this one is ducted. Then we also have an ERV, so there's actually a return for the indoor air there that goes up to the ERV.
What's an ERV?
An ERV is, like in the layman's terms, it's an energy recovery ventilator. In a little more technical terms, it's an enthalpy recovery ventilator. It's an efficient way to get outside air inside the house. So as that outside air stream gets drawn in, there's a core in the center that the airstream passes through. And then there's also the return, like I talked about, from the house that ducts, and air goes through that same core, but they're segmented within that core. So the airstreams get close, but they don't commingle. With an ERV, the little water molecules can transfer, and then the air temperature can transfer. So if it's super cold outside and you're heating in the summer or in the winter, you're gonna temper that air as it comes into the house. We are required by the code to be tighter and tighter with our homes. Our lungs need air that hasn't been breathed over and over. Rebreathing is no good. Try to stay in a small space for a long time. It's not good. So how can you do it in an efficient way? Doing ERVs, HRVs, that kind of thing. All right, we're in the primary bedroom. Lots of light. In here you have your own heating and cooling. Zonal control is extremely nice. Other than that, it's a very basic room. I kind of like the idea of a primary bedroom being a sanctuary. No big flashes in the pan, just nice and simple. Now as we come into the primary bathroom, you'll see that there's plenty of room for a couple of people. There is a linen closet in here. We've got 2 vanities, single lever faucets. We talked earlier about having no step coming into the house. It's kind of the same thing with the faucets. It's easier to operate, and then even with the lever door handles throughout the house, it's easier for somebody who might have some difficulties as far as mobility. Unless you want to come in here.
Oh, I'll do it. Yeah, are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, one of my favorite features is the shaving step. This is not how you use it, but what do I know? I don't shave my legs. But in all seriousness, it's like you got a ton of stuff there. If you're like me, sometimes in the winter, you get up and I take a shower before work every day. And sometimes I just need to sit there and let it blast me, loosen up for the day. Like the day before, you're just tight in the winter. You can get in here and stretch. So
It's a relatively inexpensive way to add air volume to your shower by having that step. We have a fiberglass pan. It is not a mud pan with lots of tile and things.
meaning it will never leak.
And that's it.
Well, I mean, never say never, James Bond, but it's much less likely to leak long term.
And then we've got the natural light in here, which is super nice to have. It's got the seated glass
With
or
privacy.
whatever it's called. Yeah, the privacy glass in here. And all of the faucets and fixtures, or pretty much all of them, are low water usage fixtures. You would never notice the difference as far as the actual usage. The way they do their orifices and the flow that goes through there, you'd be just fine.
I'll get B-roll in here.
Quick thing, we use Panasonic fans, and in this particular room we have a lit fan. You can have it all on or night light. We'll show you the night light version. This is the same kind of lighting that we have in the water closet. It just makes it a little bit nicer for a homeowner.
Last few times we've done this house, we've had a column right here which makes this beam less deep. But our engineer is so easy to work with, I just emailed him and said, hey Terry, what would it do if we pull this out? So a couple things that it did, it made the beam bigger, he specified the header, and then we had to add that wall with the footing below it, just to shorten the span a little bit and keep that beam from being too huge. And now we have a nice wide open garage that nobody would be right here potentially opening a car door into. So I'm gonna say, big win for Big T.
Ready? All right. As far as the hot water in this particular house, it's provided by a heat pump water heater. In this case, the heat pump is on top. You can have it in efficiency mode, which does heat pump only. You can have it use heat pump as well as some electric resistance heat in the tank, or you can have it all electric resistance in the tank, and it steps up in how much cost it is to heat your hot water.
So I have a question. Why would I not want to use this?
Why would I not want to use this?
go all electric resistance.
So right now, what a heat pump does, I think it's easy in our minds to go, it's a heater. It is a mover of heat. So it will either take heat from one outside and put it in your house, or it'll take heat from inside the house and move it outside. So that's how a heat pump works. That's how you get heating in the winter and cooling in the summer. In this particular case, it's really more of the heating only side of that equation. So as long as you have heat in the air in the garage, you'll be able to grab that and put it in your tank.
So does it get slower on colder days?
It becomes less efficient and it takes longer to charge the water.
Okay.
But it also has to do with how many people live there. So the folks that moved in over in McCormick Woods, it's just a couple of grandparents. They can deal with a 50-gallon water heater even in the wintertime because they're not doing massive demand. If you've got a family of 10, you're going to probably want to use a lot more electric.
And then your energy bill goes up a little bit.
Exactly. But that's kind of the reality of the situation.
You knew that when you just chose to have kids. They were going to need hot water eventually.
Then one other thing we did, oftentimes by way of water conservation and honestly just comfort for the homeowner, is have a hot water recirculation loop. In this case, we're mechanically pumping the hot water back to the tank instead of, you can do kind of a gravity system. But in any case, Takeo Comfort 006E3, it's an ECM, electrically commutated motor, incredibly energy efficient. However, it operates 24 hours a day. So you can pair it with their smart plug. Cool thing about this is it's not proprietary. You can use it for other pump manufacturers. It can use machine learning. I'll keep it real simple. It can also have some intermittent pump. So this to me is kind of the best of both worlds. Energy efficient motor, but also not have it run 24 hours a day. All right, I like hot water tank stuff.
They flinch. JK. Am I doing the outro? Sorry. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the walkthrough. We certainly enjoyed building the house. And as you can see, you should buy this house because it's a great place to live. Anything we missed or anything you feel like the viewing audience, you know, all 90 million people that tune into our channels?
No, other than we're still figuring it out. This is, what are we coming up on, a 50-year-old company?
No.
Dad started it?
I'm 45, so it is 45 years old.
So 45. We're coming up on 50. We can round up to half a century. And we're still trying to improve. So hopefully you guys learned something, and we're still learning.
Let us know in the comments features that you like in your house, houses you visited, whatever other people do. And that way, maybe we can incorporate some of those ideas. And don't be a troll. Just tell us nothing but good things, because our self-esteem's been kind of low.
Unless you are a troll.
If you are a troll,
in which case,
then
just be what you are.
you just be what you are. Yeah. If you would like us to build this house under the bridge for you, we can certainly do that. All right.
Shall not pass.
All right. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll link to Bryan's channels below. And also, go follow the Build Show. Bryan does videos how often on Build?
Twice a month, typically.
Twice a month. A lot of other great contributors there. Drywall Shorty, Lydia. That's really the only other one worth watching. Mechanical Hub, he's okay. But the best part of Mechanical Hub is Heather. Let's be honest. All right, we'll see you in the next video.
Well, this is the long room, or try that again. Here is the tall room.
Do it without your voice cracking. Thank you. That was good timing. Because I got you running. Oh, I have a question. Let me just... I have a question. Where did you get your shoes?
These are Banana Republic.
That's awesome.
The diabetic shoe store.
Thanks, the camera woman. She's